Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of WTF. What the footy? Couple of Yanks shooting blanks about Australian rules football. This is episode 23 for August 10th, 2026. On the right side of your screen, semi-retired, always professional, writer for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review, Joe Rutter, and I'm your other co-host, Robert Gregory. Joe, I was thinking we had this conversation earlier in the weekend. When we started this podcast and we named it WTF, What the Footy, we weren't going to be an X's and O's type show like Coach Donnie Hess, Donnie's Disposal. If you like the X's and O's, check it out. We weren't going to be that kind of show. We were going to kind of be like the TMZ of WTF, right?
Yeah.
And as the season went along, we've kind of strayed from that because, frankly, the games are super important right now, and they deserve to be talked about. They deserve to be reviewed. They deserve to be advanced. They deserve to be the primary thing that we're doing here. But, Joe, this past week, I just feel like WTF, What the Footy, has come back with a vengeance.
There has been a lot of things off the field to talk about, especially with the Geelong Cats, and that's commanded a lot of attention throughout the league. And, we're getting to the nitty-gritty here. We're getting to the end, and there's still a lot of hot races, trying to get that top four positioning, trying to get number 10 solidified. And, but, there's plenty to talk about on and off the field this week.
Including, I'm sorry to say, Showtime. What we do the start of every show. Our victory song of the week.
Controversy already, right off the top.
What the footy is going on here? Let me tell you what I think the victory song of the week should be. Do you recognize that, Joe?
I recognize it. You might want to hold that up for everybody to see.
It's a singing pen, everybody. We love the red and the blue.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah. 113-109 over the ladder leader this week. Yes, my D's.
Well, I figured
that is not the victory song of the week, folks. By the way,
it is
Joe
not.
Went over to his place to watch what should have been a barn burner between Carlton and St. Kilda. We'll get to that here in a couple minutes. But he got me this pen. It's the greatest thing ever. I mean, it sings. I got to figure out how to make it the ringtone for when Joe calls me, right? And I got to figure out how to make it an alarm sound too. It's fantastic. Joe, thank you again very much. But, dude, this should have been the victory song of the week.
Well, there's several reasons. One is I figured, you're secure enough in your fandom for Melbourne that, you can handle the fact that we went with somebody else to do this. You're still
you're wrong. I'm not secure enough.
The other reson is, hey, now that you got the pen, you can listen to it anytime you want. You don't need to wait for me to play it for my song of the week.
So I get home from Joe's house, 8:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
Because it was a 5:20 start, 5:20 a.m. here on the East Coast. Carlton, St. Kilda. I get home about 8:30. I'm home about 15 minutes ago. Wonder if he'll pick up his phone. So I called Joe, and he answers, and all I do is play this song for like the first 15, 20 seconds. And I can hear him laughing his keister off on the other end.
Yes, it was
fantastic.
Good. And I'm sure you've played it several times since then. My only hope was that you don't wear the song out by the end of the year.
Well, I got to tell you, there are detailed instructions on the back.
Okay.
For replacing the batteries.
Oh, good. There you go.
And there's stuff you don't do. And I love this little symbol here. We don't get this in the States. I don't know if you see this. The circle with a line through it with an infant and an O to 3.
Yes.
Yeah, not for babies.
No, not for babies.
No, it's for emotionally secure people like me.
And lastly, the reason they did not get chosen was I took a little pity on a team that's lost 10 in a row, was our very first Song of the Week choice.
Should I put them up? Should I stop the suspense, Joe?
Put them up.
Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me?
There you go. The mighty
Gold Coast. A team that has won once in its last 11 games.
And this once was this week.
And has possibly the greatest amount of amalgamated talent for this season. They finally get off the schneid, and actually, pretty important victory. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, they got to put a wrench into things. So, let's listen to the victory song of the Gold Coast Suns. Yeah, sure they are. Oh. Joe, it's a song of lies. Fight, fight, fight. Oh my God. All right, enough. Enough of these guys. Good Lord. Can I please get them off the screen?
My adopted team last year.
Well, see, and that's why I thought you picked them. I'm like, how biased is this guy at this point? Did you miss the fact that my Demons, who aren't supposed to do anything this year, are probably going to finish top 6, which I didn't even think they were going to do. They have a great chance to finish top 6, and you put these bums. You make them one of 4 teams now that have had their victory song played twice.
Well, I tell you what.
My goodness.
You guys clinch a top 6 spot, which you could take a step toward doing by beating lowly Port this week. I'll put them under serious consideration being our song heading into last week.
I mean, I feel like it's lip service now. I mean, it's kind of late. I mean, if they can't get victory song billing for beating the top of the ladder, giving Frio only his 3rd loss of the season, if they can't even do that, I mean, who cares if they beat Port? Now, I feel like because I said that, they better beat Port, right? Yeah. Or there's going to be plenty of pie on my face. Anyway.
Well, I also figure we're bearing the lead here a little bit because all this angst over who is and who isn't, and 4 repeat players. We still have West Coast sitting out there waiting to be played for the first time because old West Coast can't win a game to save its life. Maybe this week against Greater Western Sydney, they'll finally get off the schneid there.
And you know what? West Coast did its darndest against Collingwood this week. I mean, just another game where they were in it in the 4th quarter.
They really were.
And this Spy squad, boy, don't know what to think. But again, the Eagles, that mosquito in the ear, challenging a team, maybe they will shock somebody over the next 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they might have to wait till next year, or maybe we just play them in the offseason to get them done with.
Well, I don't know how fair that is either. But you're right. They're still out there. So, like I said, maybe they do pull off a shocker in the last 2 weeks of the home and away. I don't know. We'll see.
From a personal standpoint, wouldn't like to hear it because normally I don't listen to these songs until they've been picked. So I don't know if I've ever heard the West Coast theme song. So I'm kind of, I'd like to play it sometime just so I can get accustomed to it.
And we're not going to do it in secret.
No.
Like some teams do things. Oh, I'm foreshadowing, aren't I? Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later too. So anyway, Gold Coast, big victory over Greater Western and really put a wrench into the Giants' hopes. Yeah. And actually helped Western, a team that had lost over the weekend to North Melbourne, helped back them into qualifying this week. But here's your countdown. 46 days now until the grand final. Did you survive Survival Sunday? I know who did.
Yeah.
The Carlton Blues survived Survival
did.
Sunday with maybe a little help from a key injury.
Well, yeah, that definitely didn't hurt. Let's put it to you that way.
Nasiah Wanganeen Malera, 8 minutes in, grabs his hamstring. And all of a sudden, a game that should have been a barn burner ended up being what, like a 40-point margin, right? I mean, Carlton
Yeah,
just...
they were able to pad that percentage and get closer to pull within St. Kilda, because if something happens, they lose the last two, and St. Kilda wins the last two. It could come down to the percentage,
right?
But I don't know. Without Nasiah, the rest of the season looks like I don't know if St. Kilda has much of a chance.
46 days now until the grand final, September 26th at the MCG. Go to the next countdown, would you please?
Sure.
Because yes, we're going to keep talking about this. We're absolutely going to keep talking about this. 32 days until the Rams and Niners face off at the MCG during the finals, by the way. And there you see at the bottom the Vic teams, where they stand. Where they stand. You got 2 in the top 6. You got all 4 wild card spots being occupied. And you still got St. Kilda and just mathematically alive at this point, North Melbourne.
Yeah,
and yes, we're going to keep talking about this because, this is the NFL is a production, people. It's an absolute production. And it'll be interesting to see how they schedule this round. That's all I'm going to say. Again, the greatest what do I say? Greatest faith in the ground screw at MCG to get everything turned around and make that pitch as perfect as it can be, fitting for a finals game. Not going to be easy, though.
No, it's not. And this is one of those games that you would think, okay, maybe the NFL can wait next time and do it later in their season after the AFL season's over. But really, with the long travel time, the best time to do it is the NFL kickoff. And so if this were to come up again, it would probably fall right smack in the middle of finals again next year if the NFL won, or whenever the NFL decides to go.
Yeah. I just feel, I like your idea of having it in October and then throwing a bye week for both teams afterward.
Yeah.
I think that gives them plenty of time to get the Melbourne and back and what have you. And it's almost got to be West Coast teams, right? Because if you make East Coast teams, that's an extra 3 hours in the plane.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, so it's got to be someone in the West to do that. So, but anyway, 32 days until you guys get to see what we call football over here in the States. So last week it was Danhausen, and I was really excited about having Danhausen on the show. If only in a graphic. And Joe, that's how I'm going to tell people. Yeah, we had Danhausen on our show. We're awesome, right?
Now Michael Keaton this week.
We have the original Beetlejuice. That's right. In the scene where he's being interviewed by the couple, and they ask him if he's qualified. And he goes through that whole list, went to Juilliard, saw The Exorcist 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Do you think we qualified? 9 of the 10 spots, as you can see, are now full, including Western. And yes, I'm going to call you Western this week. I know you don't like it. Coach Donnie was very clear about this. They don't like being called Western. You just say Western Bulldogs or the Doggies. Well, look, you lost this week to North Melbourne. You basically backed into the 9th spot. You're going to have to deal with being called Western this week. You did not actually take that spot. You could have been qualified, the 7th team. But because of losses by Greater Western Sydney and by St. Kilda.
And they've lost 2 in a row, too, which,
yeah.
They're not entering the finals with any
boy, that's a good point. They are not doing what teams need to be doing heading into a postseason aura.
Yeah.
Now, they'll have a chance the next couple weeks to kind of right the ship. Although they got the D's in the home and away finale in 2 weeks.
They got the Blues this week.
And they got your Blues this week. So, it's not like it's going to be that easy. right?
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. They're kind of backing in, and a team that I had high hopes for, again, gritty, a lot of grit, a lot of gumption with the Western Bulldogs. But guys, you got to get it together. We got
And
we got 2 weeks left in the regular season.
yeah, and if it's feasible, they could enter the finals on a 4-game losing streak. And I would think that they would drop to 10th in that situation.
Yeah.
I think Carlton would have a chance to get to 9th. And yeah, I just Western, yeah, that's all of a sudden it looked like they had a chance to be in the top 6, but not anymore.
Well, yeah, thank you, because I thought they were going to be the team that would supplant Melbourne.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be the ones to drop Melbourne down to the bottom 4, or not the bottom 4, but the wild card round. Those 4. Doesn't look like it's going to happen that way now. You can see Carlton and St. Kilda still, they're tasting it, especially the Blues. Oh my goodness. Still the best story in footy this season. They keep proving me right. St. Kilda, though, they're not out of it. They're not out of it. Although without Nasiah, who apparently is going to be out now for 4 to 6 weeks. So he's going to miss the rest of the home and away. And they were clearly a different team without him against the Blues. Boy, it's going to be really hard for the Saints now. I also got North Melbourne, Greater Western, still alive, kind of, right?
Mathematically, I guess.
You get well, and that's mathing it. That's right. Right now they're mathing it. They're trying to figure out every single way that they can math this.
And Carlton losing helps they need Carlton to lose.
Yeah, which may not happen next week. Yeah. The way the Bulldogs are playing. If you want to go to the next slide, as we have the race for 10th or bust. You see now Carlton with a commanding 2-game lead with 2 to go.
Yeah.
Over the Saints. I mean, that's how crucial that game was. And as Joe mentioned before, now only 2 percentage points separate the two teams, which honestly, 2 weeks ago, I don't think there was any way we would have thought that would happen. But that was before Carlton beat St. Kilda by 40. And that was before Carlton destroyed Brisbane and really helped their percentage.
Yeah, and if you look at this and, the way things play out, say Carlton loses 2 in a row, St. Kilda wins 2 in a row, Carlton loses that tiebreaker because their percentage will go down with 2 losses, while St. Kilda's will only go up. Yeah. So really, Carlton needs to win or St. Kilda needs to lose a game here. And really, well, they're ahead of the GWS right now in percentage, so it can come down to that. But yeah, they St. Kilda loses, that helps Carlton's cause a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And we were kind of gaming this out after the game on Sunday morning. How Carlton could possibly get as high. Did we go to 8?
There is a chance. Depending on Collingwood does. Collingwood falls apart. I think they could potentially get to 8. Yeah.
Now, I mean, what Baggers fans really want to see is for them to lock it up this week. Get that win, beat Western, lock up a playoff spot, and pretty much what I kind of inferred to on the Twitters, achieve the impossible. Because remember, this is a team that started 1-8. They have no business being in this position. Absolutely no business whatsoever. Yet here they are with Josh Frazier, who may or may not be the leading candidate to coach this team next year. But you know what? I'm cool that he doesn't want the distraction. I'm cool that he wants to see this thing out and see if they can get to the extra games.
I don't know if you saw the video, but they showed from down on the field, him walking through the crowd to get to the field to accompany the team inside. And the fans were chanting, "We won Frazier. We won Frazier." And so if the execs are listening, they know who their man is. They don't have to interview any more candidates. I think they got their guy.
And for the sake of this graphic, we have North still on there. They're mathematically available, but they've got 2 tough ones coming up. You see that, Geelong and Sydney coming up. And you know what? We put your bums on there too, just so I could say they've been eliminated. And again, the biggest disappointment by far of the league this year.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, you don't. Oh,
the
go
second
ahead.
biggest disappointment would be St. Kilda with all the money they've spent. And Gold Coast, if it comes down to it, has a chance to play spoiler in the last week of the year and knock St. Kilda out.
Is St. Kilda a disappointment if they were expected to be middling anyway?
Well, I think a disappointment from just the standpoint that a lot of people I saw in the preseason had them in that 8 to 10 spot, figuring that they were going to, get a wild card, entry and, at least be alive in finals, maybe have a chance to win one game. But it just shows they've, injuries aside, they still just not played cohesively. And I would think it's a disappointing season.
Yeah. I mean, seeing Nasiah limp off the field in that Carlton game was just another one of those what the footy moments that we've had this past week. I take a little bit of umbrage with the game story that was written by the league where the author said that he was immediately ruled out of the rest of the game when clearly they were doing everything in their power to get him back on the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, they kept cutting to him over and over again with the ice on his hammy, with him trying to warm up on the sidelines with the physio, using compression garments to try and settle that thing down. More ice before finally he had the jacket on, and you pretty much thought, yeah, he's not coming back.
Yeah, even in the first half, he was still sitting on the bottom row of the seats.
Yeah,
where the players subbing in and out sit. So you thought maybe there is a chance. It wasn't until the second half that he was sitting back up in the back row, and you pretty much knew he was done.
It was pretty clear when the halftime horn sounded, and of course the camera cut to him, and he could barely walk across the pitch down to the locker rooms. I mean, it was pretty obvious that he was at that point done for the day. But I wouldn't say that when he came off at first that they didn't have any intention of trying to get him back on the field, and it showed. Again, it was a game that was close-ish in the first quarter with a final margin of 40, and honestly, it really wasn't that close. I mean, good win for the Blues, no doubt. I mean, to be in the position they're in from where they were, incredible. But I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure you agree, Nasiah makes a difference in this game.
Oh, he does. He makes a big difference, and it's a lot closer. But play the hand you're dealt, and Carlton needed a much needed revenge win over St. Kilda after losing to him in the Michael Voss era.
In the Voss era. And that's 4 points they're not going to give back. Yeah. They're not going to give back those 4 points anytime soon. And again, look at them. Not just in 10th place, but in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
2-game lead on the Saints. I have another race going on, by the way. That's not the only race going on. At the top 4.
The more important race.
It's getting interesting.
Really
and not just because my D's are, still hanging around 6. I feel like they've been in 6th place now for 3 months. I mean, but you know what? They're still in the top 6. They're still not playing that first weekend. They're, at this point, they're still going to get the week off. There's Frio at the top. By the way, they're still at 72 points. And that's why.
Yes, they are.
They had a chance, of course, to clinch the minor premiership, and they didn't do it. They had the Demons with rubber legs several times in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And Melbourne and Stephen King's boys, they kept coming back. And they came back so much that they were able to eke out this 4-point victory.
And you get that kind of win, and that, to me, I know for all the talk about Josh Frazier and going 10-2, I still think Stephen King's your coach of the year because of what he's done the entire season with a team that was predicted to finish by all rights outside the top 10, and to have them in 6 with a chance 2 weeks left to get in the top 4. That speaks a lot, and I would say he's. I'd say he would, he would get my vote if I had one. And the other thing that sticks out to me is Sydney has a really easy final schedule.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't put it, I wouldn't say that the door is closed totally on them getting the minor premiership. I do expect Fremantle to bounce back this week to end any doubt, but there's a chance that that door could be open for Sydney to jump up there, or at the very least make sure that any fight that's left is from 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. Yeah, although I'm still not convinced Sydney is the Sydney of the beginning of the season when they were the steamroller of the league. And, I really don't think that North Melbourne game is going to be easy, no matter where it is, no matter what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Roos at that point will have something to prove. And what better way to do that to end the season with a win against the Swans? I think that's very possible. But you're right. I mean, Essendon this week, I would expect they're going to rest some people this week.
Better be careful how you say that.
Well, that's true. That's true. That's true. Although I think that edict from the league, where they basically pointed their bony finger at the teams and said, don't you dare make the final week of the home and away worthless by sitting your players. I don't know whether that was just the final week, because we've seen it the last couple weeks. We've seen teams play, for a worse description, the bottom feeders like Essendon and Richmond.
Yeah.
We've seen them kind of delist players and get them a little bit of Z's to prepare for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and you can still list guys, but that doesn't mean you have to play them 80
That's
minutes
true.
either. You can have the other guys sub in and out and rest your stars. You could have, Charlie Curnow, now that he's apparently locked up the Coleman, or he's getting close enough to. You can limit him. You can limit other players there, and ease it back a little bit.
Yeah. So there you go, Freo Sydney, Hawthorn with a big loss this week. Where?
The Gabba.
Yeah, that place was rocking. Brisbane bent Hawthorn over their knee and spanked them good. That doesn't mean Hawthorn's a bad side. That doesn't mean Brisbane's ills are solved either, but that was a great bounce-back game after getting hammered against the Blues.
And you look at 3 through 6 and the percentages there. I mean, that's 0.6 between 3 versus 5. So there could be a lot of jostling there in the next few weeks.
And really, the only reason Brisbane is in 4th right now, which is where they need to be, remember, the top 4 get the double.
Yep.
Top 4, double elimination. Because Adelaide had trouble in the rain against Richmond this past weekend. So, I mean, that's the only reason why we got Brisbane with, a 0.2 of a percentage point advantage over the Crows.
Yeah. And we will get into that on our stock report about the poor Crows.
The poor Crows. We will talk about the poor Crows.
Well,
all right, some more WTF stuff from this week. We're going to do the fun one first. Wharfie time was, I don't want to say a point of contention, but it was a point of interest this week. And if you aren't familiar, I direct you to column 1 on what Wharfie time is. It's pretty self-explanatory, right, Joe? I mean,
well, for us in the States, it is, especially in Pittsburgh, because they play Renegade in the fourth quarter of every home game at Acrisure Stadium. But, and other teams do have similar rituals where they play songs and things like that. The thing that's different about Fremantle is they don't play it every game. They only play it when needed. And when they're
they'll hardly ever play it.
Yeah.
Which the AFL has a problem with this, and that's where we go to column 2.
Yes.
The AFL is like, what are you holding back for? Give us more Wharfie time, because it is visually stunning on television. I mean, there is no doubt about that. No. It's great TV.
Yeah, with the purple and the lights and the bells gonging, it's and for opposing teams, it's intimidating.
Yeah, place going nuts. Yeah, place going nuts. I think I'm correct in this. They've only done it once this year. They were trailing Hawthorn in round 9, and they kicked in Wharfie time, and they turned like a 10-point deficit into a 6-point lead in like a couple minutes.
Yeah, they just turned it on and got the lead and pulled away.
So here's the thing. Freo loves their Wharfie time. The league loves their Wharfie time. They have asked the league, should they make the grand final, can we play Wharfie time at the MCG, not their home base? And my first thought, Joe, was, of course not.
Yeah.
You can't play Wharfie time in the grand final at a neutral stadium. Wait a minute. And this is where I kind of change my mind depending on who they're facing. Because let's say they play Hawthorn in the grand final.
Yeah.
Okay? How many times has Hawthorn played at the MCG this year?
Quite a few, I imagine.
They have played 10 times. Remember, this is a team that, goes off base to collect their $1 million and then comes back to Vic.
Yeah.
Right? 10 times. It'll be 11 before home and away is over. So now I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If they have to play at the MCG, which, by the way, the same people that were worried about Brisbane losing their edge because they got blown out by Carlton, oh my God. Can they make a run? Can you believe how bad they got beat? Do they have problems? Are they in trouble? No, they're not. Same people are now saying, see? Freo can't win at the MCG. They can't win a flag. Can't win it. Wrong again. What's wrong with you people? But if they play a Vic team at MCG, a team that's played there 11 times this year, and that's before the final start, I say give it to them. Let them play Wharfie time as much as they want.
Yeah, I agree, and it would make great for great TV. It would be even though it's in the daytime, it would be stunning to watch it. I think I would be for it. It's funny though because since Renegade became the Steelers' pseudo anthem in the early 2000s, they played in 3 Super Bowls, and I was there for all 3. And
humble brag.
Well, in a working capacity, but they never played Renegade.
That's true.
Yeah, there was no Renegade played there. I mean, the fans brought their terrible towels, things like that. But it was, it was treated as a neutral site, and
it usually is a neutral site, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the only reason they're playing at the MCG is because it seats 100,000 people.
Exactly, and they
right?
play it there every year. The only other thing is that for Freo to ask permission to this is almost I relate it to the team planning the parade route the week before the game is played.
Oh,
you don't
superstition again.
Yeah, you don't play in the parade route until you've won the game. Get to the grand final first, and then maybe ask for your permission to do this. I just thought it was, I don't think Freo is going to go in the tank at all, but I just thought it was a little premature maybe to ask that request.
Maybe that was another one of those secrets that wasn't supposed to get out. Don't go to the next slide yet. I want to say what you're saying is like in the NHL when you win the conference, but you stay away from the trophy because that's not the one you want to touch.
Exactly.
It's like a team grabbing the conference trophy and licking it all over. Is basically what Freo has done here by asking in the league if it could play Wharfie time.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see. This is one thing I've learned about you in the past couple of weeks, Joe, is that your levels of superstition at times are surprisingly high.
Oh, I do. I have a lot. I'm very superstitious in some capacities. Yeah, some things. Yeah, definitely.
So that was kind of a funny what the footy is going on here issue.
This next subject certainly is not.
Well, no. This is painful.
Yeah.
This was the story of the week. And unfortunately, it's going to be the story of the week probably for a while. I don't know if it's going to drown out finals, but if it keeps going the way it's going right now, it probably should. And that's this little secret deal that Geelong made with Jake Kolodjasny. Now, Kolodjasny has a history of concussions. He has a history of head trauma. Well, good old Jay Clark from the Herald Sun there in Melbourne broke this story middle of last week that Geelong apparently, allegedly, I shouldn't say allegedly because they've come out and admit it, really.
Yeah.
They had Kolajasny sign a waiver giving up his legal rights against the team and their medical staff should he suffer another head trauma. And the way this unfolded after the story broke, somebody must have told Geelong CEO Steve Hawking that it might be a good idea to get in front of this. And so he made a voluntary mea culpa, basically. He said, yeah, we did this, and it was probably a mistake. Okay. And that's that first bubble. The second bubble is Kolajasny. He signed this, he says, out of his own free will. He was not pressured by the club, he claims, to sign this document. And he doesn't know what the big deal is.
I find that a little hard to believe that he wasn't pressured to sign it.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit. Because we're getting to the third part. And this is where now the AFL is knee deep. Because the AFL Commission Chair, Craig Drummond, was president at Geelong when this deal was struck. So now, no matter what happens, the AFL is involved. At least as long as Drummond is part of the league structure. Oh, and by the way, this deal, they did not tell the league. They did not tell the players' union. It was a secret deal. And of course, it immediately made headlines because I don't know that there's anybody outside the Cats organization that thought this was a good idea.
No, and the fact that Geelong didn't think it was a big deal and has tried to sweep this under the rug and that there was no immediate punishment given, that's disturbing, the way this is.
And I think they thought they could kind of sweep it under the rug because at first the league and Andrew Dillon was satisfied with their remarks, with their explanation, which to me is ludicrous. And if anything, it looks like they're protecting Drummond.
Yeah, it does. Really does.
Go to the next slide.
His fingerprints are all over this, whether he wants to say he's not involved or not.
And the thing about this is that I can't wrap my head around is that both Hawking and Drummond almost fell over themselves to confirm this report. As if somebody said, hey, let's get ahead of this. The problem with this is you have now admitted to something that can't be any less known as nefarious.
Yes.
I mean, this is bad pool, no matter how you look at it. Some quotes after this news came out. You see the quote there from Kolajasny. He doesn't like that his private medical information was released. He thinks everybody's private medical information should be private. I tend to agree with him, except he outed himself.
Yeah,
I probably should have mentioned that. Probably should have mentioned that in the last slide. After the report came out, he thought he should also get in front of it, and he outed himself. Should make that clear. When the report came out, the player was anonymous. He outed himself, and then said, he wishes his medical information should remain private. And I said, well, I get that, but you kind of outed yourself here.
Yeah,
I don't know how you can cry about that now.
Well, I don't think you can, and it's also the fact that it was going to come, whether it would come out publicly or not, or there'd be it was probably whispers, but I guess he felt the need to do that. He's kind of in a tough situation because he wants to kind of put an end to it from his end, but yet still be frustrated that that he's having to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because of potential head injuries and things.
There's a part of me that thinks that he's telling the truth when he says he was not coerced into signing this document. If he had that much trust in the organization to take care of him,
mm-hmm.
and if he's playing good soldier. I mean, this is a guy that was, I believe he was drafted by the Cats. He's got, 206 games under his belt with the team?
Mm-hmm.
I can see where he trusts his family. Now, what I don't believe is anybody in his circle, thinking anywhere, anywise, that this was a good idea to sign this document.
Yeah.
Cats coach Chris Scott weighed in with the arm's length comment. And I'm still not sure what that means. I can't believe he didn't know something about this. I find it very hard to believe that he hadn't even heard whispers. And then he got snarky. He got snarky about the story. In that there were a lot of opinions out there. And he wished people with those opinions knew what they were talking about. Coach, I would love to know what you're talking about. Tell us what you're talking about. And then there's Luke Beveridge.
That's the old school mentality right here with Luke Beveridge.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? Let's read this one.
Sure.
This is his quote after the loss to North Melbourne. So, he's not happy to begin with, right? They had a chance to clinch a spot. They didn't do it. I think every player wants to keep playing until your boots fall off. Totally understand that, right? All I know that when I was playing, we all had concussions, and I believe that too. And if I had to sign a waiver to keep playing, I would have. That widened a few eyes.
Yeah.
When he said that. And I love that he gave that old school mentality.
Yeah.
That answer, because that's just another layer to what we're talking about. But it seems to me the phrase I keep hearing over and over again from Hawking and Dangerfield is that this is a complex situation. And you'll understand more when the story comes out. To which I reply, please.
Yes, get the story out.
Tell me the story. Tell me why you thought this was a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already bad enough you tried hiding this from the league. And probably more importantly, the Players Association. Could you imagine the Players Association reaction to a document like this with one of its players? There would have been heads exploding all over the place.
Yeah.
This is not how they want their constituency treated.
Not at all.
No wonder it was a secret. No wonder you didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, and it's they've had issues. There's been headlines this year about head trauma, concussions with the AFL and the CBA and what they're doing, and this doesn't help the league at all in that regards. They're not in a position of strength here, and it's something if they haven't been taking it serious, need to take very seriously, as we've found out from here in the NFL.
Yeah, and the fact that you've got a current AFL commission chairman with dirty hands, with fingerprints all over this, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, the initial reaction from the league that they were satisfied, and then the next day, it was Geelong actually that disclosed the league had sent them what they call a please explain letter.
Yeah.
To which their response is expected sometime, well, it's Tuesday, down under, sometime during their Tuesday. Joe is dutifully watching the wire just in case something would happen to come over. I'm going to love to see their explanation. I can't wait for them to try and convince us all, us stupid people, that it was all a clerical error. Can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, I just looked again while we were talking here, and there's no update that I've seen.
Very complex situation, Joe.
Very complex. Maybe
very complex, and we don't know the whole story. Well, you kept it because you kept it from everybody.
That's what that's why we need investigative journalism more than ever. So these things get exposed.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Yeah, you think the Jay Clarks of the world aren't important? No.
Right.
They put the sunshine on this filth. And that's all this can be.
Yeah.
To try to take someone's legal rights away from them because you're afraid they're going to get hurt again, while you're still making money using their wares? I mean, come on. And again, I go back to no wonder it was secret. You knew it was bad.
Yeah.
You knew it was a bad deal.
Yeah.
Not shown on those slides was Geelong captain Patrick Dangerfield in this move this morning, where he admits mistakes were made, but he has full confidence in Geelong CEO Steve Hawking. Has full confidence in his I can't remember the phrase. I should have written it down. Basically called him a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Good people make mistakes, but this isn't a mistake to me.
No, this is hiding. This is hiding something. Boy, maybe we should move on.
Yeah, so stay tuned to what happens with Geelong, because now the pressure's on the league now, right?
Yep.
They've already waffled on this. They waffled on this, and there was a little bit of an outcry, and rightfully so.
They've waffled on it, and they did come down swiftly on Carlton and the handling of the Elijah Holland situation. To me, I think it's worse. So I am curious to see how this punishment, if any, I guess, stacks up against what Carlton received.
Absolutely. No question. All right, let's get back to the fun, because we like to have fun on this show. No matter how teams don't think head injuries are important. That's not true. They were trying to save a buck. That's probably even worse. Match the match this week. As you see, we've got a new face on there. That's Fanny Flagg on the left. You have the theme song there, Joe.
Mea culpa, I don't have it queued up ready to go. So
can we do it? Can we do it? Boom, bum, 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 bum. This is while they're writing down the answers, by the way. Bum, 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 bum. Something like that. There you go. See?
Okay.
Match game, folks. Fanny Flagg, by the way. You see, she's not in a Guernsey because that is just an incredible Superman shirt she's wearing.
That's tremendous.
It really is. Did a little bit of a dive on her because I didn't know that much about her. She wrote the novel that Fried Green Tomatoes is based off of.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Me?
That's amazing. Here we just thought she was
what was the name? The book was called what? Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Great movie. Fanny Flagg is the author. Still alive, by the way. Still with us.
Yes, she is. The only one of those four that's still with us, actually.
We need to find out if she has an Aussie tie. We get her on the show here.
There you
go. If anything, just to explain that Superman jumper she's wearing, because like you said, tremendous. To quote one of our friends with another podcast, Frank Verdecki and Jerry DePaula, tremendous. Here's our first match of the match.
Yeah, the home team getting off to a little bit of a one-goal start, 6 points after the first term.
Yeah.
We'll move on here to the next one.
Little slow and still a little slow.
Yeah, kind of.
They're kind of fading a little bit.
I would think so. Yeah, and I kind of got
they're competitive here in the third. Let's be fair to them.
They are. They're only down by 2 goals.
Yeah, but look at that graph. They're touching the even line several times.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Oof, lose by 2.
Lose by 2 points. Who could this possibly be?
Let's see.
No,
Oh.
it's your bums of the week.
Again, it's funny. I don't pay that much attention when I first go through these, and I thought another game was referenced here.
Oh, really? Which?
Yeah.
Can you tell us which one?
I thought it was the Western Bulldogs.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
No, this is Gold Coast, and like I said, putting a wrench in the Giants season. I mean, this is a team that have lost 10 in a row, and you remember this was my fear a couple weeks ago when the D's played them.
Yep.
They couldn't possibly lose, which was 8, 9 in a row. They couldn't possibly do that, could they? Yeah, they could. And then they could lose 9 in a row, and then they could lose 10 in a row. But apparently they could not lose 11 games in a row. And I thank the fates. It was not my D's that made that happen. And I kept my D's in that top 6.
Thankful from the Carlton perspective that it happened, because it,
of course,
solidified Carlton's chances of making.
Of course, the baggers. They never let you down, Joe.
They don't. Not in the last 12 weeks. They've only let me down twice. So,
and even then,
yeah,
they haven't really let you down.
No.
I mean, he wasn't going to run the table, right? No. Now, maybe he wasn't going to beat Brisbane by 70 points.
Oh, yeah. And he's won 2 and he's won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So
what'd you say he was 10-2?
10-2.
10-2. They're over 500, you said, right?
Yes, for the first time this season.
Yeah. Incredible. And I get what you're saying about Stephen King, but I don't know. I'd like to know if a caretaker coach has ever won Coach of the Year. I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
I doubt it.
There's nobody. I don't think anybody had won as many as 7 or 8 in a row.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We had that. We referenced that graphic. What?
So I can't
6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When he was on that heater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody could have gotten Coach of the Year with so few wins. So
yeah. And then what happens if Brisbane makes it 3 in a row? So now you've got you've got Stephen King at Melbourne. You got Josh Fraser, Carlton. You've got Chris Fagan.
Yeah, you
can't Brisbane.
Count him out. And I don't know when the voting for this ends.
Well, that's what I was just thinking too. Yeah. When does this vote happen? We got to find that out.
Yeah,
we are totally shooting blanks on this one, and we cannot be shooting blanks on this one. Here's the fun fact, and we kind of already went over it. 10 games, kid. Yeah, bombs. But you know what? Good enough to play the victory song this week. I don't know. Giants had won 15 of 17 in this series. Let's go to the next one.
There we go. Now here's another slow start.
Wow, look at this snoozer.
Oh.
Boy, I hope this wasn't like a 5:35 game, because I would have slept through the first half. Look at this.
29-28 at the half. Home team with a slight edge.
And look at the roller coaster.
Yeah. Whew.
Does anybody want control of this game? Does anybody want to claim it?
Not at all. Then you go to the 4th, and you see them pull it out. But
the home team pulls it out. The visitors with 12 minors.
That's crazy.
The posts are over here, guys.
That's right. I have a feeling I know who this is. Let's see. Is it Adelaide? Yes, it is Adelaide.
It is Adelaide in the rain.
Adelaide in the rain against Richmond.
In the monsoon.
Yeah, they were.
Look at the lead Richmond had in the second half.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, and I was posting on Twitter as the fourth quarter of this game transpired, comparing the percentages, in the live ladder, the percentages of the Crows and the Lions. It was crazy.
Yep, and we'll get to that here shortly.
Yeah. And we'll save my question. We'll save my question for later.
Yeah.
That I asked. This guy, though, Isaac Rankine, a little bit of trouble last year.
Mm-hmm.
Not the best of things with him, but I'll tell you what, he has been torrid. Torrid was the first word that came to mind when I wrote this. Mm-hmm. And he has been amazing.
Yeah.
And was probably one of only 2 guys worth mentioning as Adelaide snuck this one out.
Yeah.
At home, no less.
The conditions didn't help, but
no.
When you're 54-point favorites, you got to do a little better than that, I think.
Thank you. I'd forgotten what the line was. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Third game.
Here we go again. Another slow starter.
Yeah, another. My God, I'm glad I slept through the first quarter because
now
these
they pick
two
it up in
teams
the second
did.
quarter.
Yeah,
Got a little bit
picked
of
it up.
lead here. The home team
Picked it up a little bit.
Oh, kind of
Still picking it up.
Yeah. Oh. Win going away by.
And I want to point out here before you unveil. The winners had 18 goals and 17 minors.
That's unbelievable. 35 chances to score.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Do you have a guess?
I'll say Brisbane Hawthorn. No, I don't think that's right. Let's look. You should know this one. It is Brisbane Hawthorn.
It is Brisbane Hawthorn. Yes. A game that should have been a lot closer.
Yes, it really should have been.
I mean, this was hyped. Well, I mean, we hyped up Carlton and St. Kilda, and rightfully so. I mean, that is the biggest drama going on. But this was 3 against 5 at
the Gabba.
So 3's on the road. And just like Brisbane, remember, this was Brisbane's bounce back after being humbled by Carlton.
And
they turn around and humble a bona fide flag contender.
Yeah, and last week we kind of predicted this would happen. We kind of thought that. In fact, before tipping, we both took Brisbane. Thinking that they were going to have a bounce back like this.
We thought the Lions would be stung.
Yeah,
and Fagan had them playing well. And that Carlton game is just kind of a snowball effect, right? I mean, it just at some point you just can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the same thing kind of happened to the Hawks here.
Yeah, they got behind and just were powerless to catch up.
Yeah. Now.
We'll get to that one on the stock watch. One of the things we want to talk about with Hawks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I just want to say, I'm sure that the same people that buried Brisbane a week ago and the same people that are burying Freo this week are burying Hawthorn this week. Because look at this.
Yeah.
Outscored by 10 goals.
Jesus.
I can't believe they can't go into the Gabba and beat the 2-time premiers. Give me a break.
And Hawthorn has Collingwood this week, so that I wouldn't want to be Collingwood having Hawthorn come in.
No. And the Gabba was off the charts. I was listening to it on the radio. That place was loud. The whole game. Even after that, I mean, they described the first quarter as tight. And I mean, you can just look at the score and see that. But that place was just, they were beside themselves. It was amazing. Great atmosphere. A lot better than what showed up at the MCG for Melbourne Freo, by the way.
Yeah, only 40,000. Well, which they touted as a big thing, but
I don't think so.
With Freo coming in as hot as they were, I would have thought a lot more people would have been there for that game.
Yeah, the Cinderella thing going on with the D's.
Yeah.
There should have been plenty there to sell tickets.
Yeah.
It didn't have 48, I think.
I thought it was just had over 40.
Maybe that's what it was. I mean, it's only, not even half full.
Yeah.
Not even half full. Empties everywhere. Stock watch this week. There's your quote, by the way, Gordon Gecko.
And we left him in the Carlton Guernsey. I guess I should have put him in a Melbourne one and sent him back.
No, why would you do that? That was a worthless win by the D's this week. And I got no problem with him, staying in the Carlton Guernsey until, it's over for the Blues.
That's true.
They are greedy right now.
As they should
be. And they should be.
Yes.
They should be greedy. 2 games up. What are they doing 2 games up? That's ridiculous.
Our first one, Nick Watson, stock down.
Yeah, we just talked about this.
And he, everybody talking going into the week that he was outside chance of catching Charlie Curnow for the Coleman medal. Held 0.0 and got nothing. Didn't get close. He was, kind of a microcosm of the Hawthorns' sluggishness in the rain and just really didn't do anything.
Yeah. Really surprising performance. I mean, it was apropos of the team, but still, Nick Watson had been as hot as anybody.
Yeah.
And Brisbane really put him on lockdown.
Yeah, Brisbane.
And I'm sure there's plenty of teams. They're going to watch that film, as us old guys say, to figure out how to stop the Wizard.
Yeah,
but yeah, exactly. that was a surprise.
And Brisbane found a way. And I said in the rain, I was confusing that with another game. I don't think they had the bad conditions at this one.
No, I don't think so either. That the Adelaide Richmond was the one in the downpour.
Yeah.
And you still would have. It's not like Adelaide hasn't played in the rain before. I mean, what are you doing playing around with Richmond?
No, exactly.
What's going on here? And you're killing your percentage. That's the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Bulldogs first half.
Bulldogs first half.
Whoa.
Again, Bulldogs they're plummeting down towards the the bottom of the finals list. Down 62-36 to North. Going into at halftime, going into that third quarter, and just.
I mean, game's over.
What's that?
Game's over.
Yeah, game's over, and you let North back off the map, which had lost 5 or 6 in a row, and you're hurting your percentage. You're down. You can't have that.
Yeah, at least in their style of play, Western Bulldogs is not a team that can get themselves even down like 3 goals.
No.
And expect to rally and win. Because they grind. I'm not saying it's impossible, but that is not their MO. Any kind of deficit with the Bulldogs is going to be a close deficit. Yeah. They get down. What'd you say it was 62-36?
That was the halftime score, yeah.
That's what? 26 points?
Yeah.
That's 4.5 goals?
Yeah. That's it's doable, but it's tough,
Sure, but the way that the Bulldogs are built?
Yeah.
I mean, those aren't deficits that's not a Sydney deficit.
No, not at all.
I mean, Sydney has gotten down 26 multiple times in the last 2 months. But they're built a little differently than the Bulldogs. And they just got to brush it off their shoulder.
Yeah. Same with Brisbane, too. Brisbane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Any of these high-scoring teams, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
the Bulldogs are just, they can't do it that way. And now they got Carlton this week. And I'm not saying Carlton's going to smoke them. I think this is going to be a close one. It would favor Western, the Bulldogs, to make it a grinded-out game.
I'll be curious to see the odds when we get to that slide because I haven't.
I was curious too. I can't wait for you to see it.
Okay, and now we go to the last of the stock down.
Yeah, and I kind of blew this one a little bit. I apologize, but
that's fine.
Yeah,
only 0.2. Well, they're 0.2 now behind.
Yeah,
Brisbane, correct? Yeah, they dropped from 4th to 5th. Obviously, you want to be in the top 4. You get the double elimination, but that's something you think, and they could maybe make that up. But boy, they had a chance against Richmond. I know the conditions weren't good, but that's a team you want to widen that percentage. You don't want to have.
We've been saying this. I feel like we say this now every week. Is that a lot of these teams, and a lot of them are taking advantage, but there are games where it's necessary to just blow your opponent out of the water and build up your percentage. And I know it was raining, but I just feel like both teams were playing in the rain. And there is no way Richmond holds a candle to Adelaide. So I can't imagine the Crows played their best game. And as a result, they really, really, really suffered where it counts. And that's the percentage. I mean, they had every opportunity to pad themselves, and they just didn't do it.
No, they didn't, and that's that could come back to bite them in the final 2
weeks.
Because
that's the question I posed. I said, wouldn't it be something if we go back to this game as the reason why they're not a top 4 double team?
Well, and they got Freo this week,
they got free. try and pad your percentage that way. Not only do you have a Freo team this week, but just like Hawthorn, you've got a Freo team that's stinging a little bit.
Yep.
you know they're going to be at their top form.
Yeah.
Which is kind of where they kind of want to be anyway, because they know they're going to miss that first week. I don't know.
And I think Frio's at home too, which makes it even tougher.
Oh.
Let's go to the stock up now. Harrison Petty for your
that's 1-5 too, right? Maybe we see Wharfie time again.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. This is my favorite picture, I think, of the year.
Yes, and you can explain why you picked the picture of Harrison Petty rubbing his head.
Well, as you recall, in the first meeting against Frio, Harrison Petty was the victim of having his head rubbed. I can't remember who it was. I should have looked this up.
Yeah.
Head rubbed by an opposing player. And, of course, it made the rounds on social media, and it's embarrassing to Harrison Petty and this, that, and the other thing. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but Harrison Petty has been having a great second half.
Yeah.
And so after kicking a goal against said Dockers, his celebration entailed him rubbing his own head to throw it in their face. I could not be happier about this celebration choice by Mr. Harrison Petty.
Yeah, and as you should be. And the fact too that we haven't really talked about it enough is the way they came back. They were down in the second half. I think they were down a couple of goals in the fourth quarter. And the thing,
I said, Frio had them in a standing 8 several times in the second half. Could not put them away.
And the thing that impressed me about Petty was, in the highlights that I saw, he was making big contested marks and turning them into goals in the fourth quarter. Because the fact is, and I hadn't been used to him not having hair. And I thought, boy, it looks like a smaller version of Max Gone there. And then I thought, well, I know it's not Max. And then it turned out to be him. And I said, well, I looked at the stats and what he had done on the timeline. I said, I got to put this guy in there.
Good choice. So. Good choice. And Max Gone, he had hair.
Yes, at one time.
He had hair?
Kyle Lohman from Brisbane, as you texted me, I think at halftime of the game, Lohman the showman.
The radio folk were phenomenal. Phenomenal this game.
And he had a big game for Brisbane, and Brisbane needed it because they're trying to bounce back and licking their wounds against Carlton.
Yeah.
And just he was one of many guys that showed up for them and really led them back to a big victory.
Was it a 5-goal game?
I believe it was.
For Lohman? I think it was the second or third goal where they just exclaimed, "Lohman the showman!" The same way we heard Nasiah the Messiah last year in that game against Melbourne.
Yeah.
These radio guys. The ABC radio guys and gals, ladies, great job. So entertaining. You guys are top shelf. Top shelf. Love listening to games. All right, so let's talk about this gentleman.
Matt Rowe.
From your Gold Coast Suns, who I have, called bums several times in this show. But Matt's a little different.
Yeah.
Former Brownlow medalist.
Yeah, defending Brownlow guy who kind of got lost in the shuffle this year amid all these losses, steps it up and had a big game.
Had almost a career game, right? Was it 40? 40 disposals?
Is that what it was? I should have jotted him down. I didn't.
I think it was 40 disposals.
Yeah, he had a big enough game that we were sitting here watching Carlton St. Kilda. We decided that he should be on the stock up list for what he had done. He really put together a nice day and kind of showed why he was the Brownlow medalist last year. And Gold Coast needed that because they haven't gotten it from the likes of Christian Petrarca or others, they still have Ben King and stuff, but, come on.
But victory song of the week. My comment was the number of fantasy points he had.
Oh, that's
and I guarantee you in footy fantasy, there is someone out there, whether it was an accident, whether it was not knowing, there is someone out there that had him on their bench and did not play the man. He had like 185 fantasy points. Not that I look at the footy fantasy, 185 just seems like the moon to me. I don't think I remember a number that high of fantasy points from an individual player at any time this season.
Yeah, I don't understand the calculations, but that's a
Yeah,
number that
well, shooting blanks on that one, that's for sure.
I'd be very bad at the Aussie Fantasy League if I were to play it because I value
So would I.
goals behind.
You know who's not?
Who's that?
Coach Donnie.
Oh, of course. I'm sure he does
We're
quite
gonna have
well.
we're gonna have to ask him.
Yeah.
We got to get him back on the show.
Okay,
What do I mean back on the show? We got to get him on the show.
Yes, true.
Here's your recap of round 22. There's that Bulldogs lost to North to start the weekend. And to ruin my parlay, one game in. I would bounce back, however. 7-2, I think. I finished.
Yeah, you did finish 7-2. What was your other loss? Was that the Adelaide? Yeah, that was probably the Adelaide Richmond.
That was yeah, it was Adelaide. Yeah, because Adelaide, was a 50-some point favorite, right? Yeah, that was the only other one. Yeah, there's that huge Brisbane win. If you couldn't do the math and the graphic before, there it is for you, 125-58. There's Melbourne with that worthless, useless victory over the ladder leader. Like anybody cares. 113-109. Sydney did not play around this week. I'm still not convinced. I said this earlier. I'm still not convinced. But they didn't play around against Port. Once putting up a 167. Maybe they are getting ready. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, still not convinced. Geelong beat Essendon 117-50. There's the Adelaide slim victory over Richmond. There's the Suns snapping their 10-game losing streak. Boy, West Coast Collingwood was a fun game to listen to. Because, again, the Eagles just would not go away. And it's not like this wasn't a game that Collingwood needed. I mean, if you're in that wild card spot, you need all the points you can get.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the end that they were able to distance themselves enough from the Eagles. And, by the way, cover for me slightly.
But not for me.
But not you.
Because we had different lines.
Even though we make our wagers like, what? 45 seconds apart or something? We're getting different lines? I don't know. I don't know
how that works.
I don't know what's going on.
I should just wait till when you do it and pop mine in then.
I mean, will it make a difference? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. The brass at West Coast, so the coaching staff, basically told everyone during the post-game presser what we've been saying for weeks now. Yeah, we're getting our heads kicked in. Actually, they're not getting their heads kicked in. I think they're incredibly competitive down the stretch this year. They're not winning games, but they are incredibly competitive. They're making teams sweat in the second half.
Yep.
And as young as they are, I don't got a problem with that. But their coaching staff is like, we're losing games, but I hope you see the promise of a future that's bright for West Coast. And that's what we've been saying. If they can keep these guys together, the experience they're getting now is only going to help them. Yeah, it's only going to help them next season and the season after that. I'm telling you, we are not going to see West Coast sitting at 16th. We're going to see them. I mean, now that there are 10 teams making the finals, maybe not next year, the year after, though, maybe.
Yeah.
They got some drafts coming up. We'll see. We'll see. We hear you, West Coast. We believe in you, West Coast. If anything, because you were supposed to be the doormat this year. And you have clearly surpassed the expectations of those in the know in footy. And then, of course, the 44-point victory by the Blues. Not even gonna put an asterisk on that. People get hurt. And it should be noted, Nasiah missed some training that past week.
Yeah.
He was held out, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah.
And then came back Friday? So we were wondering if he was held out Wednesday, Thursday because he had a bad hammy.
And that could have been, and he tried to play through it, and now he's out for the rest of the year.
4 to 6 weeks, they say now.
I hate to see that for such an exciting
That's how bad
player.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching that limp at halftime, you knew it was pretty serious.
Yeah, we knew.
I'm not a doctor, but after watching them go hell and high water trying to get him back on the field. Yeah. So, like we said, Bagger's not giving it back. 2-game lead with 2 to play. That's amazing. Just an amazing story.
Mm-hmm.
Best story in footy. Thank you very much. Round 23 fixture. So, only 2 games left in the home and away. Joe, we're almost at the end of the home and away.
It's unbelievable, isn't
doing
it?
this show.
Going so fast.
And you know what? It really is. It really has. I mean, we are staring down September now, which is crazy. The end of this week is the midpoint of August. It's going way too fast, right?
Way too fast. And I'm
Rio
looking at
Adelaide, though. Starts the weekend.
I'm looking at this, and I see, unless you did a lot of cut and paste, a lot of 22.5s here.
I double-checked those. I was like, okay, what did I screw up here? Yeah. Now, will those lines be the same tomorrow morning here in the States?
Probably
no, of course not. Of course not. But there's Freo 22.5 over Adelaide. That might not be enough.
Yeah.
Freo at home, stinging after a loss. I didn't think they'd run the table. And it was hard to see them not losing 2 games. But I don't think a third one was in the cards. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, they're that good.
Yeah.
This is a good side. St. Kilda, without Nasiah, still a 22.5-point favorite against Richmond.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'd be tempted to, if that stays that way or goes a little higher.
I'll tell you what. I don't know.
Richmond hung in there again last week.
I'm kind of with you on that one. Yeah, they showed a lot of heart last week. Showed a lot, even though it was raining, whatever. I mean, you got to give them credit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what'd you say? 55.5-point dogs?
Yeah, 54, I think, is what it was.
Yeah, they were leading in the second half.
Yeah.
North and Geelong, and North is a 22.5-point dog.
It's about right, I would say.
Yeah.
Curious.
Geelong's getting close to getting some people back too, by the way.
Yeah, true.
They're going to get stronger. They're going to get stronger.
I just wonder if I wonder if this concussion thing is a distraction, but it wasn't last weekend, really. So
no, not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Although, I mean, it was what? Essendon.
Yeah.
I mean, how much of a distraction, Kolajasny wasn't even, he was the emergency sub.
Okay.
So, and that was probably so he wouldn't have to face questions after the game.
Yeah.
I'm guessing. If I'm on the PR staff for Geelong, which I would not want to be right now. Oof. Goodness. Brisbane, 32.5-point favorite over the Gold Coast Suns, everybody's favorite team now that they finally won a game at
the Gabba.
I don't know if that place will be as loud this week.
I don't think so, but
I bet it's still pretty loud, though.
Yeah. It makes me wonder about Gold Coast. They can probably hang within 32.5, but I don't know. I don't think they can win it, but I think they could maybe.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is a pretty big spread.
Yeah.
Pretty big spread. Hawthorn, 19.5-point favorites over Collingwood.
Interesting. I thought it'd be a little closer than that. I think Collingwood still should keep it close, but then again, Hawthorn after that loss might be licking their wounds and ready to
they're stinging too
on somebody.
Yeah, they're stinging too. The Port and my D's.
Yeah.
25.5-point favorites are the D's.
I think
they go on the road.
Yeah, I know, but I think they should win that and win that by more than 25.5.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope you're right. I hope you're right so I can hear this. It's the greatest pen I've ever seen. That's where Greater Western and West Coast. And the Giants are 33.5-point favorites. And I'm telling you right now, I am banking on the Eagles.
I would go that way too. Greater Western, just GWS, 2 up and down. You know, I'd be hard pressed to think they're going to blow them out by 33.5 points.
And if I can wait till Saturday night to blow my parlay, I'm going to do it. Western Bulldogs and your Carlton Blues.
Wow, Carlton favored
by
by 6.5.
What say you, Joe?
That's a tough one. That's a 6.5 point. It's rare to see Carlton favored, especially on the road, even though they're still a marvel.
Yeah, road-ish, I guess. Yeah,
but yeah.
But I mean, they'll be wearing the whites again this week, right?
I guess, yeah, and they should. I'd be tempted to take Carlton and give the points. They're playing really well right now, but that's another one that I also might just say, I'm going to stay away from it. We'll see.
that will not be part of my 4-game parlay. Essendon and Sydney, another chance for Sydney to tune up. 61.5.
I would be real tempted to take Sydney too. I just don't see it from Essendon. I know it's a lot of points.
That's not enough, is it?
I don't think so. I really don't.
And unless Sydney sits some guys.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Especially if
whatever wins, that's called.
Yeah, if Freo wins to clinch 1 and Sydney's pretty comfortable being 2, maybe they take it a little easy.
Maybe.
Maybe. Let's move ahead.
The women started this week.
Yes.
And Carlton gets an opening round victory over St. Kilda. The first game of a doubleheader, by the way.
Yes, that was and that that helped boost the attendance a little bit, but it's good to see that enough people showed up early that they got a chance to see the ladies too. And
it sounded like it was a really good crowd.
Yeah. And I
also sounded like Carlton had a big lead and kind of had to hang on a little bit.
Yeah, that's what you told me. I didn't want to say it. The hard thing is it's hard to follow over here because at least on TV we don't get it. I'm sure with an app we could. But,
we're gonna do our best.
Yeah, we'll do our best to give them some.
We're gonna do our best. We're gonna try and add slides every week and there you see last year's leaders. I just wanted to give a shout out to the ladies who made 2025 their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have a women's version of Bailey Smith or anything like that, right? I mean,
I would hope not.
We pretty much like them all right now.
Yeah, and I'm looking here
for now.
Your round 1 fixture and seeing, I guess, Carlton St. Kilda was part of round 1. It wasn't like an opening week thing, so they, I guess, don't play this week. So
no. Well, I mean, it's still week 1.
Yeah.
So I mean, week 1 lasts like 10 days.
Okay.
A week is 10 days in this situation.
Okay.
So this is technically still round 1. Here you see the fixture. You see Melbourne gets Hawthorn. They're at Icon Park. North and Geelong at Marvel. And then big day Saturday. In fact, this is why the men are not playing on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because Hawthorn Melbourne has Thursday all to themselves at Icon Park.
And that's a primetime showcase. And
it's a primetime game, so that's 7:15 p.m. Thursday night.
And as we found out, we don't call them North Melbourne; they're just the Kangaroos.
Oh, that's right. On Friday,
obviously, the team to watch Friday. The way they've been such a juggernaut.
What 2-time premiers?
Yeah.
What did I say? They haven't lost since the 2024 Grand Final. I think I read that right.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah. When you look at the leaders on the left side there.
Yeah.
They're all over.
Oh, you see a lot of roos, right?
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So they open against Geelong on Friday. Big day Saturday. As you see there, Hawthorn, Collingwood, Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs, Essendon, and Brisbane. Sydney and Adelaide. Freo and Port. On Sunday, Greater Western and West Coast to end the weekend. 12 weeks is the women's fixture. 12 weeks. It's more of a sprint than the 25-week marathon.
Yeah.
That the gentlemen have.
And I'm sure, do they have buys? I don't know if they do or if they just play all 12.
You know what? I don't think they do because it's only 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they can't play everybody either.
No, which
if
is
it's 12 weeks.
That breaks down.
Yeah. So here is the men. Back to the men. Current ladder after 23 weeks. Not a lot of movement, as you can see. Although we've talked a lot about that crucial percentage thing going on with Brisbane and Adelaide. I mean, it allowed Brisbane to get back into that top 4.
Mm-hmm.
And again, boy, Crows. I hope you're not kicking yourself and missing a chance at the double.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be something. That would be something.
But other than 8-9, everybody else stays the same, and it's
pretty much Geelong, Collingwood, Western Bulldogs, and there's what I'm calling the impossible.
Yeah.
One step closer to the impossible. Was believe the tagline I used this week. There's your Carlton Blues. St. Kilda still has a chance. Greater Western still has a chance. North Melbourne still has an outside chance. Gold Coast done. Port Adelaide done. West Coast done. Mm-hmm. Richmond done. And Essendon.
They were done halfway through the season.
Yeah, and they're probably going to be spooning, right?
Oh, I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we will be playing their victory song again this year.
We'll have to pull out the spoon for next week's show. Or if
I was wondering if you had the spoon there with you.
I don't have the spoon with me. Oh wait, no spoon this week. Not on the kitchen table today.
Not on the kitchen table. Oh, okay. Well, this is kind of a bummer. So the league usually posts on late Sunday, early Monday morning. They do their story about the coaches' votes. And I noticed that they posted their stories about, their round 22, like they do every week, goal of the week, and their nomination for goal of the year, mark of the week, which I believe is their nomination for mark of the year, and then they usually post the coaches' rankings, and they tell you how many people got perfect 10s and this, that, and the other thing. I would assume that Roll would have got a perfect 10 this week for Gold Coast. But they didn't move it.
Disappointing.
So I had to throw an incomplete on there. But I was able to update the statistics, and as Joe told you earlier, looks like Charlie Curnow is going to win the goal scoring lead.
Yeah, I would say that's
the goal scoring race.
Yeah.
And grab the Coleman. 7-goal lead now with 2 to play.
And the guy that's really rising up there, I'd like to see getting the number 2 is Jai Amos from Frio. He really just watching the highlights from him. As I incorrectly,
I think you just wanted to say his name.
Yeah, I incorrectly referred to him a couple weeks ago as Jay Amiss because I thought, well, he doesn't miss, he scores.
I was just gonna say that can't be accurate because he's got 53 goals.
Yeah, it has to be Jay a goal, but no, it's Amos. So I stand corrected, and I had to say his name one more time.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And the way, the way Gold Coast is scoring right now, even though they did win this week.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of easy to see where Ben King gets overtaken for second. So
yeah, I think it happens.
So Nick Dacos, who is, again, probably the front runner for the Brownlow this year, and he's going to be the runaway winner of what is incomplete on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
The AFLCA Champion Player of the Year award. Maybe I should have made the opacity a little less on that block so I could read it. Still leading in disposals, as you can see, still leading in score involvements. Harry Sheasel, for a team that's probably not going to make the finals. What a great year from the Roos player. There's our buddy Bailey Smith. I can't cut him out, Joe. He was top 4, and there weren't enough ties, and everybody fit. So,
and I believe he was the leader in fantasy points as well. Again, I think he had a pretty good game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And there's Clayton Oliver. Like I said, names that really haven't changed. Marks is the same way. Although I think John Noble is a new name from Gold Coast on the Marks list. And I think Will Ashcroft is new in the score involvements, if I'm not mistaken.
He's had a big second half. He's been really strong for Brisbane.
Yeah. He's been playing well.
Yeah.
Joe, you have any final thoughts?
I do not, but I know you do have one, so I will cede the floor to you in this instance. And
I do have a final thought as we continue to mull over what's going on at Geelong, and I just, I should preface this by saying I should start by saying I'm going to take the hat off, because this is not as a Melbourne fan, this is as a footy fan, and this is as a human being with basic decency. I mean, that's how far down the hole I think Geelong has gone.
Yeah.
To me, this is just an absolutely ridiculous situation. And I think we need to be reminded about head trauma itself. Now, let me start by saying that I have been lax in having final thoughts this year. And I shouldn't do that. I like this to be a forum where we can express our opinions at the end, kind of wrap things up, right? So, in a way, I apologize for not having final thoughts. This week, though, Geelong made it extremely easy to have a final thought. Now, what you see on the screen is what I used to do in a former life, working with Joe at the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. I was a copy editor and a paginator, or page designer, if you will. And this was a cover that I did back in 2007. This is Mike Webster. And if you know anything about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Webster is a legend in the Steelers lore. Played for the team for 15 years, was regarded as the best at his position, the center of the offensive line, for most, if not all, of his career. Helped win 4 Super Bowls. Was charged with quick and accurate snaps to another Hall of Famer, Terry Bradshaw. Anchored an offensive line that made holes for another Hall of Famer, Franco Harris, and a war hero, Rocky Blyer. This guy was a god. He also suffered head trauma over and over and over again. But this was the 70s and the 80s, and not much was known about concussions and head trauma and the kinds of things it could do to you in the future. Mike Webster died at the age of 50 of heart failure. But when they did the autopsy and they got into his brain and saw the lesions everywhere, his behavior in the later part of his life was explained. And that's the text that's on the cover that I've written to the side. I'm not going to read it to you. You can pause and read it yourself. It basically describes a very sad end of life for one of the NFL's greatest players. And this all goes back to head trauma. And this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about with this Geelong situation. Mike Webster is the canary for CTE. He is generally regarded as patient zero. And they've learned so much in the last 20 years about head trauma and CTE. And now you have all of these protocols before games, during games, after games regarding head trauma, concussions. So you try your best to stay away from CTE. The NFL has them. Footy has them. Most sports have them because they understand the importance of head trauma and injuries to the brain. This guy's the canary. This is the guy we should be thinking about when we see ridiculous stories this week about what Geelong perpetrated. And they perpetrated a scam. That's the only way it can be described. It's a scam. It's a scam if only because it was hidden. from the entire league and from the Players Association that it had to be drug up by an intrepid reporter and brought to the sunlight. It's a scam. I don't believe the words of Geelong CEO Steve Hawking. I don't believe the words of AFL Commissioner Craig Dangerfield. I don't believe them. They did a bad thing here. They tried to take the rights away from one of their players, even though they've come out today and say, oh, we take care of all of our players. Clearly, that's not true. And again, I can't wait to read their explanation for why they thought this was a good idea, and two, a way to treat a current player. This is a guy that isn't even retired. He's still on your roster. And you're giving him this supposed choice. It's wrong from every level. It cannot be tolerated. You can make the argument that Mike Webster and Footy are two different things. That Mike Webster's case is extreme. And I would agree with you. You can make the case that NFL football and a typical Footy game are two different things. And I would tend to agree with you there. It's estimated that because of Mike Webster's play and the contact he endured, play after play, game after game, season after season, that he was in the equivalent of 20,000 car accidents. So I can see where you would say it's different. But this is where it starts. It starts with waivers like this. Disgusting, nefarious actions to save a buck. And as far as the league goes, as I said before, they're already in it. They already have a guy, Craig Dangerfield, who was the president at Geelong when this happened. His hands are already dirty. Can we trust the league to have a punishment that is swift and severe? Because that is what this requires. You've got to nip this in the bud. You can't allow anything like this to happen. There's got to be dire consequences for this. Because if you don't, you end up with a guy like Mike Webster. I'm telling you right now. Can we trust the league to make these decisions? I'm not so sure. They've already waffled on this thing. As far as I know, Mr. Dangerfield still has his job at the AFL. As far as I know, Mr. Hawking still has his job as CEO of Geelong. If I'm the league, I tell Geelong, you need to show Steve Hawking the door. And they need to show Craig Dangerfield the door. Somebody's got to show them the door with the caveat that they never, ever think of Footy again. They are disqualified for the rest of their national lives. That's how serious this is. This is something that Joe said earlier. This is something you don't mess with. This might be the slipperiest slope when it comes to players' health, and it doesn't matter what sport you're in. So the punishment has got to be swift, and it's got to be severe to stop this right now. So it'll be interesting to see what the AFL does in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and what the rest of the reaction is, because I don't feel like it's been strong enough. I don't know that people really understand. And what gets me is the Mike Webster situation was 20 years ago. Are you telling me we haven't learned anything in 20 years when it comes to Footy? That can't be right. By the way, the words on the cover and the words that I transcribed on the side are from his Mike Webster's son, Garrett Webster. And actually, he was testifying in front of the United States Congress, not about head injuries. He was testifying about how the NFL treated its players after they retired. The Webster estate was looking for $1.67 million in damages because they felt the NFL was responsible, at least partly responsible, for the injuries that Mike Webster had and died with. Not died from, but died with. But remember, if you read this, this is a guy that couldn't find the bathroom at the end. He urinated in the oven because he didn't know any better. He would curl up in the ball crying. This is not the acts of a healthy person. The Mike Webster estate ended up getting $1.17 million from the NFL. And from there, we started to learn more about head trauma. We started to learn more about brain injury. We started to learn more about what we now know as CTE. So, league, do the right thing. Andrew Dillon, you've got to do the right thing. You got to show some people the door. And if you can't do that, maybe you should be shown the door yourself. Joe, what do you think?
I think that was very well said. And, again, my concern is, like we've talked about, that the AFL in some capacities seems like it is 20 years behind the way they do other things, maybe 40 years behind in terms of salaries. Now, I know they don't have the TV contracts and such,
Yeah,
but you have to take these head issues seriously. They don't play with helmets. They don't play with padding. Very few guys. You see one or two in a game maybe having head protection, but 99% don't. That's their prerogative. I think someday in the future, maybe it'll be mandatory for all players to wear head coverings. I know they don't look, it doesn't look fashionable out there, but you're talking about your
don't they call him like Kazoo something, or after the great Kazoo in the cartoons?
Well, that was the in the NFL now players wear
which I those things over their helmets.
Yeah, they're
the additional padding.
Yeah, they're some kind of caps. I can't remember the name of them.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah, but there's a lot of head trauma in the AFL. You see that just with the collisions, the guys jumping up, the knees to the head. You're going to have these kind of things happen. You've got to take care of them. You got to be more cognizant of them. You have to take better steps, and you can't go hiding it. That's just the one thing. If you learn anything from this, you cannot hide concussions or keep a player from, making him play by having to sign a waiver. It's not right.
Nefarious, disgusting actions.
Yes.
By Geelong.
Yeah.
And there have to be consequences. And I don't want consequences against the team. I don't think that's right. I mean, and we've got people that have pretty much admitted it. To show them the door. They don't belong in footy. I don't care how good of a person they can be. This is heinous. This is heinous to ask of a current player. That's our show for this week. You can see us on YouTube at WTF What the Footy. We are on Twitter X at WTF What the Footy. You'll find my picks there this week, 7-2. Still plus. I still made you money this year. I'm just saying. You can find us on Apple's podcast and Spotify at WTF What the Footy. We're on Facebook at WTF What the Footy. Joe, what's our Instagram report for this week at WTF What the Footy?
Well, I'm not sure. We're going to have to cut up a lot of things. I'm sure your final thought will be among them.
Oh, God.
But I have to keep it down under 2 minutes, and I don't think that's going to be possible with
Did we have any interesting trolls this week?
Nothing that really stood out. No, we got a decent amount of follows, but nothing troll worthy really.
Folks, we want the smoke.
Yep.
Bring us the smoke. Bring us the smoke. We may feature you.
Yes. Come at us and educate us.
That's right. Shooting blanks, folks. Shooting blanks most of the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, for Joe Rudder, I'm Robert Gregory. 2 weeks to go. See you next time.
Showtime.
Oh, I feel flushed. I feel flushed.
Button, man. We're at 145.
I know. My phone's running out of memory. Goodbye, folks.